Hey there, everybody. Dave Valente with the Scabbard. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hockey fans of all ages, thank you for joining us. Actually, recording this in the morning before the games because today's my anniversary, so I will be unavailable later this afternoon and evening. So just wanted to get a show out and make sure that we got the fastest 15 minutes of hockey out there to preview you for tonight's game against the Philadelphia Flyers. First of a 4-game road trip as the Sabres go to Philadelphia and then head out west to play the California team. So you get your San Jose, your LA, and your Anaheim coming up, with the first game being against LA on Tuesday. But tonight is the first game of the road trip where we take on the Philadelphia Flyers. But before we get to that, let's take a look at the action tonight in the NHL. By the time the show airs, a couple of games will either be done or just about wrapped up, depending on how long the games go. But St. Louis will be in Boston to take on the Bruins at 1 o'clock this afternoon. The Islanders will be in Seattle for another 1 o'clock start, but at 1 o'clock local in Seattle at 4 p.m. Eastern to take on the Kraken. The Edmonton at 7 o'clock, starting with the Sabres game. We've got the Edmonton Oilers in Toronto for the Hockey Night in Canada matchup. Big matchup for all the big Canadian teams playing tonight. Columbus is going to be in Montreal to take on the Canadians. New Jersey will be at Tampa, who got a big win over the Jets the other night, cooling them down a little bit. Winnipeg will be in Florida to take on the other half of the Florida contingent on their road trip. Buffalo, of course, playing Philadelphia in Philly tonight, and San Jose at Pittsburgh, and Ottawa at Carolina. All those games are at 7 o'clock. So just a big chunk of games there at 7 o'clock. Starting at 8 o'clock, we've got Dallas up in Minnesota to take on the Wild. Detroit at Los Angeles at 8 o'clock. And Chicago playing Vancouver at 10 o'clock for that late night Hockey Night in Canada tilt there. So, yeah, good full schedule for tonight in the NHL. Let's take a look at what happened on Thursday night. So Sabres hang with it. They, played better. I mean, you couldn't play much worse than what happened on Monday. The Sabres offense was decent. It was just that their attention to detail and their commitment to play a full 60 minutes was not there on Monday. Thursday played a lot better. Still found themselves down in the third period. They had 2 first period goals by McLeod and Zach Benson. Zach Benson, nice low point shot or low slot shot to get the Sabres. Even with the Blues are taking a 1-0 lead on a Brandon Saad goal. Brandon Saad scored again later in the second period to give St. Louis a 3-2 lead going into the third period. Yeah, it was, you kinda had a sinking feeling going into the 3rd period. The Sabres made a good push. In fact, I will say I'll have to say that was probably, Dylan Cousins' best shift, definitely of the season, maybe even of his career, um, where he just threw down the Blues defender and, got to the front of the net and potted a shot by Jordan Binnington. A completely BS call on interference, goaltender interference. Zach Benson, yes, he was in the paint, but was not making contact with Bennington. In fact, Benson was pushed into Bennington by the defender of the Blues, and that's what caused the contact. And wasn't even making contact when the puck was shot and put into the net. Um, it was completely frustrating. Dylan Cousins should have been rewarded with his effort on that goal and was not. So sad to see, but good to see the Sabres stick with it. Alex Tuck, who I thought up until that point had played a pretty weak game. In fact, there was an early power play where Alex Tuck stood facing the boards, the back wall, while the puck was behind him, and I couldn't for the life of me understand what he was doing. Like he was ready for a shot or for a pass from behind the net, but the puck was behind him. Um, and there were a couple other instances where I didn't really like his game until that goal. I mean, he got his stick on the ice, and it was a nice pass back from JJ Peterka to get the game tying goal to force overtime. 7:03, I think, was left in the game. Sabres got lucky with a penalty in the final minute. Were able to rag the puck for the final minute to force overtime, get that point, which they have not done this season to get games into overtime. I thought from a karmic perspective that the Sabres might lose that game for doing something like that. But Rasmus Dahlin scored on a beautiful one-timer there in the overtime period to get the Sabres the 4-3 victory. Good to see them stop the losing streak, get a point, then stop the losing streak and get the win, get that second point in overtime. They're back at NHL 500 again. Uh, the Flyers are playing better, but this is again an opportunity for the Buffalo Sabres to get above 500 to break that mental barrier. I think that's a big thing for a team like Buffalo is to break the mental barrier of getting over 500 and getting themselves on the right side of the ledger um, versus is getting up to that level and then just sinking back down. So particularly, I think they want to be on, above 500 as they go out to the West Coast and start with a couple of games. They should win, and then a tough game against the LA Kings to see if they can get that victory as well. Um, yeah, so let's talk about the Philadelphia Flyers. So they are 7-8-2 on the season. They had a very tough start to the year. They're sixth in the Metro Division right now, but they started slow. Were 1-6 at one point on the season. They've won 6 of the last 10, and are playing a lot better. And Travis Konecny has 19 points, 9 goals, 10 assists. Samuel Ersson leads the goalies with 270 goals against average, 902 save percentage, and 5 wins. Fortunately for the Sabres, Ersson is day to day, so not sure he is officially going to start. Since I'm recording early, I don't have the official lines from NHL.com. I had to use Daily Faceoff for lines, but we'll talk about those projected lines in a moment. 3 keys to the game tonight. Don't take the Flyers lightly. Yes, they had a slow start to the season. They're playing much better now. The young phenom Matvei Michkov scored an overtime winner the other night against the Ottawa Senators. Um, they're playing better. They're I think a team with a little bit of turnover there is now getting used to again integrating the new players and getting in Torts' system to play well. Again, it's a Torts team, so they're going to be sandpapery and but they're also susceptible to if you can get under their skin, you can play well. Set the tone for the road trip. Again, 4-game road trip. It would be great if they could win 3 of these. If they can win all 4, even better. Anything 500 is okay, but again, you want them to come out of this road trip with a above 500 record, heading into the U.S. Thanksgiving week, and that traditional quarter mile post of the season that tells teams that if you're in it, you're going to be in it. If you're not, you're not. So Again, set the tone for the road trip, and then protect the slot. Again, teams are finding it far too easy to get into the slot and take shots on goaltenders' first goal against or second goal against Devin Levi the other night. The defense completely backed down and allowed Vucinovic to get a shot in on a really uncontested shot in on Levi. I think Levi wanted that shot back. Again, it was a uh, unscreened shot from the slot. I think he would want that shot back, but again, the Sabres defense played way too soft on that goal. So protect the slot, clean that up because that is where a majority of those goals for the Sabres are being allowed in from. All right, talking about Flyers forward tonight. Travis Forrester, Noah Cates, and Travis Konechny on that first line. Owen Tippett, Scott Lawton, and Matvey Michkov on the second line. Anthony Richard, Morgan Frost, Bobby Brink on the third line with Joel Farabee, Ryan Paling, and Garnet What Is Love Hathaway on the fourth line. And then the defensive pairs. We've got Emil Andre with Travis Sanheim on the first pair, Nick Seeler with former Sabre alert Rasmus Ristolainen, and Igor Zamula with Eric Johnson on the another former Sabre alert Eric Johnson on the third pair. Flyers goaltenders, Ivan Fedotov, former captive of the Soviet or the Russian government, with Alexei Kolosov, with the injuries, kind of a who's who on defense. Although Ryan Ellis hasn't played for a long time. Ryan Ellis listed on IR, Cam York on IR, Jamie Drysdale, that young phenom that they picked up from Anaheim last season, also on IR. Sean Couturier and Samuel Erison both listed as day to day, so they could make it into the lineup today if they are feeling better. Sabres forwards again. These are per daily face-off. We don't have any strict lines, and they are subject to change. But I don't think much change from from Thursday night unless Tage Thompson is healthy enough to skate. Which means you got Zach Benson, Ryan McLeod, and Alex Tuck on the first line. JJ Peterka, Dylan Cousins, Jack Quinn on the second line. Jordan Greenway, who is dinged up, he left practice early on Friday and may not play. Jordan Greenway, Peyton Krebs, Jason Zucker on the third line, Beck Melenstein, Sam Lafferty, and Nicholas Obey-Kubel on the fourth line. The Sabres defensive pairs look like Rasmus Dahlin with Bo Byram, Owen Power with Jacob Bryson, Dennis Gilbert, and Connor Clifton. All outside some of the slot play, I think, especially the Gilbert and Clifton pair, and the Power had a rough go against the Montreal Canadiens, but I've really liked the game that Dennis Gilbert has brought to the Sabres, and hopefully he stays in the lineup for a while. No report on whether we're going to see a switch up, but according to Daily Faceoff, Devin Levi is going to be the starter with James Reimer backing up for the second straight game. I actually would like to see Reimer get into this game, but we'll see what happens. Sabres injuries and scratches. Scratched, of course, is Henry Jokiharju. Again, no word on if he ever gets back into the game. Probably will have to be the result of an injury to another defenseman. See him come back, unless we get a downturn in the defensive players' play that would bring him back in. Tage Thompson is day to day. Matthias Samuelsson is on IR. Well, not officially on IR, but will be on IR with Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen also day to day. We may see Jordan Greenway join this list, particularly if Tage Thompson can come back. I think they might let Greenway sit one out and get himself rested for the West Coast swing. Tonight's odds. These are a few hours old, so go check DraftKings for the latest numbers or whatever system you play on. Buffalo is a .5 favorite with a over-under of 6 with the money line on Buffalo at -108. On this date, this is the wrong one. I guess I didn't say it, but November 16th of 2021, Justin Tokarski saved 45 shots in a 2-1 victory over the Pittsburgh Penguins. I believe Kyle Poso got the game-winning goal in that game. So yeah, that was 3 years ago. Dustin Tokarski, the Toker, got us a victory in that game. Our next episode is going to be Wednesday night at it's going to be a late night show because it's the West Coast swing. So 10 o'clock start, probably 10:30 start. So we're looking at a 9:30 start to the Scabbard on Wednesday night. So we'll look forward to that. And that is the show for this morning when I record it, or the evening when you watch it. So anyway, thanks for joining us. We will talk to you all on Tuesday or Wednesday night when we take on the Kings.